Yo ho everyone, these are days 11 through 20 of the Pirate Project, 30 days of pirate looks. I love these Sacred Heart earrings since they've got a dagger through them. They're from Polanco on Hazen Goff, a Mexican art store, as is the Day of the Dead skull. This women's blouse I'm wearing is thrifted. It's perfect with the ruffle, a little bit hard to iron, but pirates can look rumpled, that's fine. The pants are from a store in Sebastopol, California called Funk and Flash. They're made from kind of a raw cotton, so they have a great texture, and the high waist helps them look more old. The thing I'm wearing around my waist is actually supposed to be worn as a sash, unlike most of the neck scarves I wear as sashes. It's from Guatemala. My mom brought it back for me. And then wrist cuffs from Dark Garden corsets and lots of rings. Wearing excessive jewelry is a great way to look like a pirate, as is having a peg leg. I had already done eye patch and hook, so I knew it was just a matter of time before I had to tie my leg up behind my back and wear loose pants to disguise it and have a table leg sticking out of my knee. But I was in a hardware store, saw the legs for sale, and figured I'd just pose for a picture without having to create some kind of rig. If I were to actually use this as a costume, I'd put some wood stain on it and maybe hack at it with a sword to make it look like it had seen some action. This look would probably be better barefoot, but as much as it looks like a tropical island, I actually am still on the sidewalk in San Francisco. My linen pants again. This bandana tied around my waist is great because it has anchors on it. It's not actually all the way around my waist, it's tied onto belt loops. And then a neck scarf tied in kind of a sailor style with kind of a sailor shirt. There are actually buttons on the right shoulder and the cuffs, which give it a little bit more of a sailor look. I've got a red anchor earring. I used to have two but lost one, but pirates only need one earring. And it matches the asymmetry of my hair and the scarf around my waist. I actually did a whole video with my friend Katie putting pirate looks together from clothing out of her wardrobe. I really liked this fur coat that she had, and I was interested in trying to use it in a pirate look because I'd never seen a pirate in a fur coat. She was joking this is her Jenny from the Block pirate look. She's actually wearing her pajamas, and I don't know why, but whenever you have more than one belt, it makes it more piratey. And boots are obviously good for pirates, especially when worn with tights and a tunic and a vest and belts like this. I like this look. People have said it has kind of a Robin Hood feel, which I think is largely because of the green. If it were a different color, I don't think it would read as much as Robin Hood. If you're pulling from your own collection of belts, something that fits around your waist might not fit around your chest like this, but this one's perfect because it's woven. So you can actually buckle it at any point in the belt. It's buckled right at the end, not where holes would necessarily be. And this hat that she's wearing, we just pinned one side up and added feathers from a hair clip, the knife she bought on Market Street. I really like the matching tones but different patterns of the headscarf and shirt, and this hat again is pinned. Actually just used toothpicks in a straw hat because you can feed them through the weave, so on three sides. And having the cuffs undone and the shirt untucked and a little bit of ankle showing helps create kind of a looseness, which is good for a pirate look. We got pretty creative this day, adapting things in Katie's wardrobe to be more piratey. Her idea of turning the jacket inside out was perfect because the leopard print, rather than being all over, becomes like a trim, and she was saying that captains wear red jackets. They also wear cravats, which we could not find anything to work until we had the idea of using a pair of her tights, so the legs are around her neck with a pearl earring to hold them in place. The right vest can be the key component of a good pirate look. This linen one is from a thrift store. I've worn it a few times, but you don't get to see the black and white striped lining, which here actually matches my costume store sash and my mismatched striped socks. They're actually different widths from two different pairs. The 70s platforms I got from a thrift store, one of the very rare occasions that I actually found a pair of shoes that I loved and that fit me. Short pants are also always good for a pirate look, and again, excessive jewelry. The bracelet on my left wrist is actually a few links out of the same chain I'm wearing around my neck, which is, in fact, a thrifted belt. The rest of this jewelry I've worn before, except for one item which I made special, which is my hook ring. It's made from one of those costume pirate hooks, but the cup part broke off, and this is the part you hooked your finger through. So that it didn't move around so much on my finger, I actually used silver duct tape to attach it to my pinky ring here, a piece of costume jewelry. And then the hat I bought online years and years ago. I had been looking up three-corner hat and tricorn and pirate hat and was just getting these cheap costumey things. And then my mom typed in keywords millinery and haberdashery and found this nice thick felted one with ribbon on it, which was a little higher quality. And I added the ostrich plumes, of course. After a long Talk Like a Pirate day doing karaoke, making a video with Katie, I just wanted to take it easy the next day. Take a bath, try out a more minimal pirate look. In this case, a single shark tooth earring. It's real easy to turn something like this into an earring. There's just a little wire wrapped around it and then an earring hook from a craft store or a bead store. And pirates are fond of salt water. In this case, I'm using San Francisco Bath Salt Company Dead Sea Salt with a eucalyptus peppermint essential oil. The smell works nicely with the peppermint Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, which is what's giving the water this milky consistency. And the pirate rubber duck is from a thrift store. The next day I was out at Sutro Baths with my friend Scott, who took this picture. The cape I'm wearing I actually wore to my senior prom. My mom made it for me from a pattern from a fabric store, but we picked out some braid and buttons to add on, which weren't part of the pattern, and the lining is the same material as the sash. One of the best things about capes is the way they billow in the wind. My nephew William makes a great pirate with the addition of a striped scarf for a sash, my three-corner hat with a blue ostrich plume in it. We didn't mean to match today, but we were both wearing blue shirts. Mine is raw silks. It's from a thrift store. It has a great texture to it. I wore it recently to a wedding and made this bracelet to go with it. It's just a little sequin trim from Discount Fabrics that I sewed 2 snaps onto. And then the seersucker pants are from Ross, women's section. They were a little short, so I just roll them up. We actually had a whole crew of pirates briefly. We didn't play very long. It was little Olivia here's second birthday, and she wasn't that into playing pirates, although William, on the other hand, loves pirates. When he was around, too, he had this whole secret pirate language that was a little bit like the Swedish chef. Kind of a "Ard-aboard, a yard, arm, starboard." And in sharp contrast to a 2-year-old's birthday, the next day was Folsom Street Fair, where we San Franciscans celebrate our fetishes, amongst other things, in my case, pirates. This thrifted shirt I sewed lace and extra buttons to. The arm garter is actually a little silver elastic from Britex fabric that I stitched into a band. White and silver scarf I found on the street, and the belt I bought in Vegas at the $10 boutique. That day I was armed with a parasol in place of a sword, just had it stuck through the strap of my purse, which was full of band promotional postcards, which I handed out to the people I talked to. As I've pointed out, cuffing your pants make them extra piratey, and bonus points for black and white striped socks. I'm not sure that a parasol is a particularly pirate accessory, but it does speak of decadence, which works for me. It worked for these ladies too, as did their corsets, although not as well as this beautiful corset from Dark Garden, who had a booth set up at the fair. I went to Folsom hoping to take pictures with other pirates, and I was not disappointed. This couple that I met talked to me a little bit about Renaissance fairs and pirate festivals, and they weren't the only pirate couple I met. This costume on the left I really like. It's probably the nicest store-bought women's pirate costume I've ever seen, and I love that half of his costume is just his muscles. I asked them why they wore masks. Were they burned by acid or something like that? The response was simply, no, it's just they're terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them in the future. And another look showing a little more skin. Notice the cat o' nine tails hanging off the 2 belts over the Calvin Kleins. A leather coat helps the pirate look, but nothing says pirate quite so loudly as a parrot. Yes, it was real.
Rah! Pieces of 8! Pieces of 8! Rah!
I also met a woman who actually was a sailor and had this Chinese character tattooed on her neck, standing for sailing and navigation. When the wind picked up, I got to display the versatility of my sash, being worn here as a headscarf. My friend Scott, who took some of the pictures this day, was not dressed overtly pirate, but his leather knickers definitely get the pirate stamp of approval, as do his argyles. In this look, I'm wearing a vest and a blouse that I actually wore the one time I was a pirate for Halloween in high school. I added the braid to it with the help of my mother, and the lace cuffs are added as well. The blouse is from a costume store in Santa Rosa, California called Disguise the Limit, and then the vest is from a thrift store. That day, I also wore a version of that look in a music video shoot for my band The Sweet Trade. It was the first day of shooting for Ballad of the Buccaneer's Beloved. Since I had the hat and the hook, I thought it was high time I do a Captain Hook look, just a little eyeliner to draw on the curls of the mustache. The cravat is pinned into place with a rhinestone earring from Claire's. The more ruffles, the better for Captain Hook. This vintage shirt actually used to be my dad's, and velvet to create all the finery. Of course, you can't be Captain Hook without Peter Pan. Luckily, my girlfriend Caitlin makes an excellent Peter Pan. We had an epic sword fight. There was a point where I thought I had her hooked, but she got me in the end. The hats obviously are from Disneyland. I love that they have the same styles that they had when we were kids. We were able to get the ones that we used to like when we were younger. But the feathers they give you these days are actually pretty dinky, so we replaced ours with feathers from Cliff's Variety and the Castro. The purple velvet blazer I was wearing, I did replace the buttons and add braid to. It's from a thrift store, and then this is the cuff with a little lace on it and a little lace across the back as well. These are some more shots Scott Lewis took out at the Hyde Street Pier by the Balclutha ship. This vintage bathing suit I'm wearing is actually from the 1920s, dressed up with anchor earrings and a headband. But it looked so authentically vintage, especially with the Balclutha, I couldn't resist putting some in sepia tone. I bought the suit at Decades in the Upper Haight with the intention of wearing it in the swimsuit section of a pageant that I was going to enter that then never happened, but it worked out great for these photographs. Scott was really good at catching me in the air. I like how this one, the stripes in my suit extend into the ship. So there's 10 more days of pirate looks. Hope you found some seed of inspiration to create your own pirate outfit. Yarr!